Sketch a graph of y minus 5 squared over 16 minus x plus 2 squared over 9 equals 1. Here we recognize this as the equation of a hyperbola because the y squared term is positive and the x squared term is negative. However, the hyperbola has been shifted. Because the y is replaced with y minus 5, the center has been shifted up 5 units. And because the x has been replaced with x plus 2, it's been shifted to the left 2 units. So the center of this hyperbola is going to be at the point -2, 5. Now we can go through and sketch the hyperbola centered here. Now, because it's the y squared term that's positive, we know that this is going to be opening upward. And because a squared is 16, we know that a is 4. So our vertices are going to be up 4 units above the center and down 4 units below. So one of them is going to be up here, and the other one is going to be down there. Now, because b squared is 9, that tells us that b is 3. And so we're going to go to the right and to the left 3 units from the center to figure out what our central box is going to look like. So we can draw that central box in. And once we've done that, we know what our asymptotes are going to look like. So we've got one asymptote that goes in that direction, and then the other one is going to go down here in that direction. And then we can go and sketch the branches of the hyperbola. Remember, the curve needs to go through each vertex. It needs to be tangential to the central box and then asymptotically approaching the asymptotes. So the bottom branch will look something like that. And the top branch is kind of outside of where our XY plane stops being visible, but we can sketch a little bit of it up there. And if we wanted to, we could extend things and we could draw more of it. But I think this is good enough. We can see where the things are that we need. Now, if we were asked to find the foci, for instance, remember that those come from the relationship c squared equals a squared plus b squared. In this case, that would be 16 plus 9, which is 25. So c equals 5. So that means that our foci are located 5 units above and 5 units below our center point. So one of them is going to be at -2, 0, and the other one is going to be at -2, 10. Now the asymptotes end up being a little bit more work. If we look at the asymptotes here, we can see that both of them go through the point -2, 5, and the slopes of them are going to be 4/3 and -4/3. So for each of those, if we want to find them, we need to use point slope form. So they both go through the point -2, 5, but one of them has slope +4/3 and the other one has slope -4/3. So remember, point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So for our first asymptote, we're going to have y minus 5 equals 4/3 times x minus -2. And the other one's going to be y minus 5 equals -4/3 times x minus -2. Now x minus -2 is the same as x plus 2. So for each of these, that becomes x plus 2. And then we distribute the 4/3. So we get 4/3 x plus 8/3 And for the other one, we get negative 4/3 x minus 8/3. And then to get it in slope-intercept form, we need to add 5 to both sides in each of those. So here we get y equals 4/3 x plus, we have to add 8/3 plus 5. If we get a common denominator of 3, 5 becomes 15/3, and 15/3 plus 8/3 is 23/3. And then over here, we've got negative 4/3 x, and then we've got negative 8/3 plus 5. Well, 5 is still 15/3, and so negative 8/3 plus 15/3 is positive 7/3. So these end up being the equations of the asymptotes. So when we're dealing with things like asymptotes and foci, it's often a bit more challenging to figure out what their equations are going to be or what the coordinates will be when we're looking at a conic that has been shifted.